Hi everyone. In previous video, we have seen Visualforce syntax, program execution, and debugging steps. In this video, we will see queries, quick start, Salesforce object query language, Salesforce object search language, SOQL, SOSL syntax, query, and execution. If you have not subscribed my YouTube channel, please subscribe, like, and comment. We have our complete demo video posted in demo playlist. Please watch and give your feedback. So let's move on to our topic. Our Salesforce courses are Salesforce Consulting Administration 45 sessions, Salesforce Development 45 sessions, Salesforce Lightning 45 sessions, Salesforce Integration 30 sessions. In Salesforce Development, we are covering Apex, Salesforce Object Query Language, Salesforce Object Search Language, and Visualforce. So in this video, we will see Salesforce Object Query Language, Salesforce Object Search Language. Before that, let's understand the Salesforce storage mechanism. As I have explained in my previous videos, as part of infrastructure as a service, Salesforce is providing the database storage called database.com. Database.com is massive data storage facility. User can store the data and can retrieve the data. So hierarchy of Salesforce storage mechanism is region. Region is nothing but a data center. And what it contains the multiple instances here. What is the instance here? Instance is nothing but a server. Instance is nothing but server. Instance resides inside the region. And within the instance, each instances will have a database. Each instance has a database. Salesforce database is database.com. Database resides inside instance. Every server has a database. To get a more clarity, let's log into the status.salesforce.com. So if you enter the URL status.salesforce.com, click on here, Salesforce services, and here you will see region. There are 3 regions on top: EMEA, Americas, Asia Pacific, and this one is instances. These are instances. If I select EMEA, all the instances will be displayed inside region EMEA. If I select Americas, all the instances display here, which are inside Americas region. So URL, region, instances. Each instance will have database. Each instance has a database. So to retrieve the data from database, require 2 things. One is platform and second one is query language. Salesforce is providing the platform called force.com. As part of platform as a service, Salesforce is providing force.com platform. And Salesforce is providing the query language to retrieve the data and to search the data. There are 2 types of query languages in Salesforce. One is SOQL, Salesforce Object Query Language. It is to retrieve the data. And second one is SOSL, Salesforce Object Search Language. It is to search the data. Let's see first SOQL. First, we will understand SOQL, Salesforce Object Query Language. By using the force.com platform, SOQL queries are used to retrieve the data from Salesforce database called database.com. SOQL queries are applied on a single object. We can write a SOQL query on a single object. We can also write sub-queries, but that require a relationship between the objects. We can write a sub-queries, but that require relationship between the objects. Then only we can apply the query to get the data from multiple objects. And who will be using the SOQL? SOQL will be used by admin as well as the developer. Both will be using the SOQL query. Now let's see Salesforce object structure. Now we are clear on region, instance, and database.com. So database resides inside instances. So inside this database, assume that there is a table, account table, and how the data will be stored in the table, rows and columns. So here also data is stored in rows and columns, and there are 4 columns here: name, phone, email, department. And each row is a here Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, MS Dhoni, Anup Kumar, Rohit Kumar. This is a data. This is a data. In Salesforce term, table is nothing but object. We say account object. Column is nothing but fields. Name field, phone field, email field, department field. And next, this is a data. And then rows, we have each row. There are 5 rows are there here. So each row is called as a records in Salesforce. Records in Salesforce. Now we are clear on object structure. Let's see one of the requirement that we have received from the client. So requirement is to retrieve a data of name, email for account object from Salesforce database.com. So this is the database.com. Client is interested to know name and email from account object. But to fulfill the requirement, developer and administrator must know, whenever we are writing the SOQL query, developer and administrator must know which table, that means which object. That is the first one. And the second one is column names, fields. Here we have a clarity on a fields and clarity on the object. Fields are name and email. Object is account. So if we go more in detail, database.com has an account object and there are 4 fields are there. So business logic. So basically we will write a SOQL query in query editor. We'll see how to go to the query editor. Assume that we have a query editor. So whenever we write a query editor and click on execute button, this will send a request to the database.com. So database receives the request and sends the response back to the developer console, and we will see the result in developer console. Syntax for the requirement. First, we need to know, developer or administrator must know the fields. So field API names. What is the API name here? We will see in our live sessions. But for now, API name is nothing but a name, phone, email, department. And then the object name is account. SOQL query, Salesforce object query always starts with select keyword. Always starts with select keyword. And then we have a field's name. From is the keyword. And then we have a object. So this is the syntax. So let's understand more in depth on the syntax. Say SOQL query always starts with select keyword. And between the select and from keyword, we have to mention the field names. And after from keyword, we have to mention the object name. This is to retrieve and display the data. So let's go ahead and see the query. SOQL always starts with select keyword. So select, and then we have another standard keyword called from. In between the select and from, we have to mention the field names, and after from, we have to mention the object name. So this is the query. So how to write this query? Let's see the navigation steps. Navigation steps are open query. To open the query editor, log into the Salesforce Lightning application, click on a setup, click on a developer console. So log into the Salesforce Lightning application, click on a setup, click on a developer console. Once the developer console is open, we can click on query editor. So here we can write the SOQL and SOSL queries, and we can click on the execute button. So let's go ahead and see one example. Okay, so I have connected to the Salesforce Lightning. I have logged into the Salesforce Lightning application. Second step is click on a setup, and third step is click on a developer console. So once the developer console is open, on bottom you will see Salesforce, query editor. So this query editor is to enter SOQL query or SOSL query. So right now we are seeing the SOQL query. So we know the requirement of the SOQL query. Requirement is to retrieve the name, email from account object. Okay. So SOQL query always starts with select keyword. So here I'll take name is one field. Another field I'll take phone. From is the standard keyword. From which object? Account object. Now click on execute. Okay, so this is the what happened now. I clicked on execute. As soon as I clicked on execute, it sends the request to the database.com, and database.com receives the request and sends back the response to the developer console. So this is all about Salesforce Object Query Language. Now we will see Salesforce Object Search Language. Salesforce Object Search Language is as part of a platform as a service. Salesforce is providing force.com, as I have explained before. As part of platform as a service, Salesforce is providing force.com. So by using the force.com platform, SOSL queries are used to search text phrase. Text phrase is nothing but a single word or a phrase. Data from Salesforce database. So SOSL is used to search text phrase. Example, find out whose name contains bulk. So search text phrase is bulk. SOSL queries can be applied on single object or multiple object. So no relationship is not required anything. SOSL queries can be applied on single object or multiple object. And who will be using? Admin and developers both will be using the SOSL. Now let's see Salesforce Object Search Language requirement. So client has given a requirement, write a SOSL to search text phrase. What is the text phrase is here? Bulk is the text in account and contact object, and display the name from the account object, first name in contact object. So to fulfill the requirement, developers and administrator must know text phrase. What is the text that needs to be searched? And second thing is that scope of fields. Did they mention in the requirement scope of fields? Is there anywhere scope of fields is mentioned or not? So in the requirement, the scope of fields is nothing but whatever the keyword is here. So here text phrase is bulk. Okay, this is bulk. Now second thing is that scope of fields. To search, where to search, on which fields it needs to be searched. So there are two things. Developers or administrator might know the field names in the object. Like maybe if it is an account object or contact object, assume that fields are name and phone number, email. These are the fields we might know. Okay. There is a possibility that we might not know the field names in the object. Whenever we don't know which fields in the object, what we will say is basically search for in all fields, because I don't know which field. So search for all fields. So if you look at the requirement, where to search, it's not mentioned in the requirements. Let's assume that all fields. And the third one is list of objects. Yes, list of objects, we have account and contact. Account and contact is mentioned. And field to retrieve. Fields to retrieve. That means to show to display the data. Yes, they have mentioned the display data, name on the account and the first name on contact. Right, so let's move on. Let's see the syntax. Syntax is for the requirement. Requirement is write a SOSL to search for text phrase bulk in account and contact object and display name from account object, first name in contact object. So let's see the syntax for this. SOSL always starts with, okay, syntax. For the syntax, there are three things which are required. Text phrase, scope of fields. First one is it's required text phrase, and second one is scope of fields, and the third one is list of object and fields to retrieve. Now SOSL is always starts with a find keyword, and then we have a text phrase. Text phrase is here. This is the syntax. In scope of fields, the second one is scope of fields. Returning, the third one is list of objects and fields. So here standard keywords are find, in, returning. These three are standard keywords. SOSL always starts with find keyword. So let's see in detail. So find text phrase is nothing but any text like a bulk or any number 1, 2, 3. And the second scope of fields is maybe specific fields, name, phone, or all fields. If we know the fields details, then we can mention the specific fields. If we do not know what are the fields in the object, we can mention all fields. And the third one is list of objects and fields, object fields. Object names are account, contact, field names are name, phone, email. So first one is what, and second one is to search, third one is to display. So basically it is what to search, to display. Now let's see the query. So query is, let's go to our developer console. So this is the SOQL, take out. Okay. So Salesforce object search language always starts with find keyword. Always starts with find keyword. And then we have a text phrase. Text phrase is always within the curly braces. Here the text phrase is bulk. Now, text phrase in is the standard keyword. In which fields in the requirement, scope of fields is not mentioned. The second one is scope of fields. Second one is scope of fields, where to search. To search is not mentioned in the requirement. So we will use all fields. All fields. And then third keyword is returning. Returning from list of objects. We know the object, and to display the fields. Fields in the requirement it is mentioned name, comma, second object name is contact, first name. So this is SOSL query, Salesforce Object Search Language. What we are doing, searching this text phrase. SOSL always starts with find keyword. Here the keywords are find, in, returning. These three are keywords in SOSL. So let's click on execute. So there is something wrong here. Bulk, find. So space is the space is find. Find in, all fields, returning. Okay, let's take out this quotation. Quotations are not required. Click on execute. Now, two objects at a time. SOSL is searching multiple objects. First object is account object and display field is name field. And the second object is contact object, display field is first name. So at a time, it is searching multiple objects. Now we are clear on SOQL and SOSL. Let's see the differences between the SOQL and SOSL. The first one is SOQL can retrieve or search from one object at a time. Whereas SOSL is, we can search multiple objects at a time. We can search in single object or multiple objects. Now, the second point in the SOQL is, if we are writing any subquery, then relationship must exist. If you want to write any subqueries to retrieve the data from multiple objects, relationship must exist between the objects. Here, the relationship is not mandatory. We can search in multiple objects at a time. And SOQL is used when we are using the SOQL, if we know the object and if we know the data present in that object. So if we have a clarity on the object, data and fields, then we can go with SOQL. In case if we do not have a clarity on which object the data is present, then we have to use the SOSL to search. SOQL to retrieve the data from database using the select keyword. SOQL always starts with select keyword to retrieve the data from database. SOSL always starts with a find keyword to retrieve the data from database. And we can query on all the fields of any data type. SOQL can be queried on any data type of the fields. But coming to the SOSL, SOSL will be queried on only specific data types, email, text, and phone. Why it is specific to the only these three, we will see in our live sessions. For now, assume that SOSL is, we can query only on the data type that has a email data type or text data type or phone data type. Only those we can use the field on query to search. And a DML operation can be performed on query language. We can do the DML operation. Here, DML operations we cannot perform. It returns the records. It returns the records. And this returns the fields information. Which are the field we want? We have to mention that field name and it will return the data of that particular field. Thank you.